Wouldn't you know? I think that's how you say that. We are back with a Warlock build. Yep, Warlock, not a Hunter or Titan, a Warlock. And I'm sorry for neglecting you Warlocks for so long, you space magic ruffians. So for this build, main thing that we're going to be going over, first off, is the Starfire Protocol. I've never even seen this. I forget so many of these exotics are even in the game, and this is by far one of the biggest mysteries I've ever come across. I don't know why I've never even bothered using this before, but basically what this does, we got an additional fusion grenade, and whenever we get a fusion grenade kill, we get our rift back immediately. So not only do we have our grenades 24/7, but we also have our rifts 24/7. Also, whenever we do damage from our rift, we will get grenade energy back as well. So that is where we get our constant grenade energy. So this exotic both gives us basically a ton of grenades and a ton of rifts. Now, in terms of subclass, doesn't matter which one of these you use. I know that there's some builds out there with middle skill tree where if you use the healing grenades, you can get infinite healing grenades with like Lumina or something, but that's not what we're going to be doing with this build. Instead, we're going to be using top tree, which has no significance whatsoever. The only reason why we're doing this is because top tree Dawnblade can have unlimited melees if you use it right. And what I mean by that is whenever you get kills while in midair, you get melee energy back. So if you just get all your kills while in the midair, you will have your melee energy back all the time in turn. So essentially, with Starfire Protocol, you can have your grenades and rift back very consistently, and with our subclass, we will have our melee back very consistently. In terms of weapons, we are using Witherhoard, O-Rings Maul, and Sub-Zero Salvo. Now, none of these weapons are significant besides the Witherhoard, and Witherhoard isn't even all that significant either. The only reason why we're using these three weapons is because they correlate with what we're trying to do here very well. Basically, we're just going to be shooting our grenade launchers constantly and using the auto-loading holster from Witherhoard as well as our rocket launcher to its maximum potential, as well as our O-Rings Maul's Demolitionist. Demolitionist from the O-Rings Maul is just how we get our grenades back even faster. It's going to be our main weapon that we're going to be using. Witherhoard and the rocket launcher that we're using are our main sources of boss damage. This is how we're going to be shredding bosses throughout this solar system. Basically, we're going to shoot our Witherhoard shot, and then we're going to shoot our O-Rings Maul, and then we're going to whip out our rocket launcher with Demolitionist and just start unloading our rocket bullets onto the enemy. We could practically rapid fire our rocket launcher, so it's pretty fun to eat it. It's pretty fun to mess around with. I'll show some gameplay showing what I'm going to be doing to these bosses and just showing how they're getting destroyed. But basically, the reason why we're using Demolitionist, our grenade launcher, as well as our rocket launcher is for two reasons. One, the obvious reason, we want our grenades back very fast, and two, it pairs very well with our Starfire Protocol. Now, Demolitionist actually has an additional part of its perk that I rarely even consider, which activating your grenade ability reloads this weapon from reserves. So you can shoot your rocket shot, throw a grenade, and then it automatically reloads your rocket launcher in return. So you can shoot a rocket, throw a grenade, shoot a rocket, throw a grenade, shoot a rocket, throw a grenade until you're out of grenades, which honestly should very rarely happen. The cool thing about this build is that our Witherhoard is doing consistent damage, and while we're in our rift, our consistent damage gives us our grenade energy back. So while we're doing our consistent damage with Witherhoard, we are in turn gaining our grenade back while doing damage with our rocket launcher and O-Rings Maul, which in turn reloads our O-Rings Maul and rocket launcher automatically from us getting those grenades over and over again. That makes sense? If not, I am deeply sorry. I would highly recommend just looking at the gameplay. It's probably much easier to actually come to terms with. But yeah, that is all for weapons. That's probably the most amount of time I've spent on weapons with. Whatever. In terms of stats, I have 100 discipline. I don't think 100 discipline is honestly necessary at all. I just have it just in case, just as a precaution, just in case I mess something up. But if I were to run anything, it would probably either be grenade, recovery. Actually, you don't even need recovery. It would probably be, actually, you know what? Stats can be whatever you want, honestly. You can go 100 discipline, 100 recovery, 100 strength. I would recommend doing that. If you want your super back more, I'd go into intellect, because with our build, our grenade and rifts, they come back without having to rely on stats whatsoever, pretty much. Maybe spec into mobility, resilience, or yeah, intellect or recovery just for safety measures. But besides that, moving into armor. So for armor, our main thing that I want you to pay attention to is Origin Ordnance. When I was talking about using our rocket launcher to get our boss DPS as well as our Witherhoard, this is also what comes into play for that. So we are going to be getting our Charge of Light stacks constantly from our Blast Radius mod, which has us become Charge of Light from getting rapid kills with our grenade launcher. And from getting those Charge of Light stacks, we are going to be getting a constant buff to our rocket launcher from Argent Ordnance, which basically makes it so that when readying or firing a rocket launcher, it grants us increased damage and reload speed. Damaging a combatant with one rocket consumes one stack of Charge with Light. So we're going to be having Charge of Light stacks all the time. Now the cool thing about this is that whenever we shoot our rocket and then throw our grenade, that reload from Demolitionist counts as a reload for Argent Ordnance. So every time we throw a grenade when shooting our rocket, it will consume one stack and then boost our next rocket shot. So it's very helpful and it helps us shred enemy bosses insanely fast. I honestly really want to try this out with some people in the new raid and see how fast we can actually kill bosses using this type of stuff. But I need to actually find time to do that. But yeah, I'm also using Bomber to get us our grenade back whenever we use our Rift. I would actually highly recommend using that as well. Bomber comes in clutch very often. And yeah, that is pretty much the build. I am sorry it took so long to come out with the Warlock build, but here you go. This is what I found and what I tweaked with and tried to change as much as I possibly could so that I didn't copy anyone. But yeah. Anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoyed. I hoped it was helpful. If it was, leave a like and comment down below. I'd very much appreciate it. And yeah, I love you all. Thank you all for supporting me. I appreciate it far more than you know. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.